you write funny stuff. Sometimes you perform it. Sometimes it's for kids. Sometimes it's for ads. Like, it makes sense to me. But what was the order of business? How did you start it? How did you build these forking paths?
So when I first started, I was first improv. I was UCB, took improv classes, never even thought of stand up. That was never even something that I thought I wanted to do. The thing with the thing with improv is like I that is also something that I wasn't able to control as much. There maybe were 2 shows a week or whatever it was. So that's really why I started doing the stand up, because you were able to perform every night, sometimes twice a night. It's also where you made all your friends. That's where I made all my friends, is in stand up, and you're sort of collaborating and doing your shows. And then with the stand-up background, I was literally filling in at an ad agency for someone. I don't even remember. I think someone called me and was like, "Can you just fill in for me today?" She was an assistant, and she was like, "Can you fill in for me?" And then it turned into I was there for like 2 weeks, and they had a talent show, and as part of the talent show, I did stand up. And afterwards, the creative director came to me and he said, "What do you do? Like, you have to come write for us." And then from there, I really felt like I thrived in that. I just enjoyed being in that environment. It was still creative and it was still funny, but it was a job, so you got paid. So you were like, "Well, that's really great." And then after I was at the agency for a little bit, I just started freelancing with other different agencies, and I was able to still manage auditioning, doing the stand up, and then also doing that when you're freelancing. It gave you it allowed me to have a much better balance. I never even thought of advertising. I was like, yeah, I'll just go in, fill in, and then it's funny how things just kind of work out and put you in positions that you never thought you'd be in.
You might not be writing like jokes all the time, I imagine, in those
Right.
scenarios, but what degree does your comedy training come into play in some way when you do that?
So I'm so glad you asked me that, because that is a huge part of advertising. Sure, it's great to go in and say, like, IKEA was one of the clients for the ad agency that I was working for. So those commercials skewed funny. So it was very natural for me to want to go in and create these funny little sketches and these pitches, and that was great. But then at the same time, you're also doing an Alzheimer's drug, and you're also doing things that are not, you have to go out of your comfort zone a little bit. But if you're a writer, you're a writer, and that's just what you do. It's like that's the hat you wear that day. There is some appeal when you tell people, "Oh, I'm a comedian." It's like, "Oh, yeah, I love to laugh." But sometimes they can't get their mind around the fact that you can write other things other than comedy. So, that's been a very interesting, some people are like, "Yeah, you're a writer," but other people are like, "Well, I don't understand. If you do comedy, how could you write non-comedy things?" And it's like, "Oh, we're a world full of emotions." Like,
Like when I was first starting, and I just graduated from school in May. So I literally mean like in June when I first was starting, there was a lot of questions about what's going on. So yeah, I would love to know, as someone who's been doing it for a while, how that has changed for you, if at all.
what people sometimes forget is that this really is a career path. This is a job. This has a lot of responsibilities. So the more you approach it as that, people will understand, like, "Oh, she's making money doing a voiceover. She's making money writing something. Like, this is just as much of a job as anything else. It's just that every day it might be different." The comedy community is really just a wonderful community, and people really want to support and help you. And it goes both ways. It's like there is enough to go around. I was nervous to do stand up because I felt like I never did it. I was like nervous to do the writing because I didn't do it. And really, it's just about doing it because there are no rules. We really do have gifts. Maybe sometimes performers don't think like you have something special because we're not in that 9 to 5 world, or, we're just very unconventional, but we have these skills that are very valuable. So we just have to keep remembering that and get that out.